So I'm just going to be talking a little bit about what we have done this semester, and especially about everything going on in Israel and Palestine. So during the 2023 fall semester, the Baker Institute has provided expertise and leadership when it comes to the Juniata community. 2023 is a special year for us in particular because it's the 50th year that peace education has been at Juniata. So the first official PAX courses began in 1973. So Juniata's continued legacy, I believe personally, is rooted in the pursuit of peace. And we can see that clearly this fall semester. So in this semester alone, the Baker Institute hosted and co-sponsored over 15 events with other diverse academic departments and with other campus offices like EDI. Thank you so much for all you do. The Institute also hosted its second international symposium, and this year the focus was on shifting international relations following the invasion in Ukraine and the continued effects of that. So this event is incredibly important, and this year we brought a Nobel Peace Prize laureate, 2 international ambassadors, a national commissioner, and 3 academic scholars to campus. But the highlight for me, especially, was that in this 2-day period, almost 300 students, employees, and community members attended this event, around 260 of them in person. So that is just an amazing achievement, not only for the Baker Institute, but especially for the Juniata community for rising to that occasion. This clearly demonstrates the desire and the commitment of our community to engaging in peace work. 2 days after the symposium on October 7th, we were reminded of why we need to engage in peace work at our university. So on that day, a terrorist attack occurred in Israel, leading to a violent continuation of a 75-year-old conflict. Today, this date marks the 60th day of this conflict, with a reported 17,000 dead and almost 2 million displaced, a vast majority of them being of the victims being civilians. Because of our expertise in analyzing conflict, the Baker Institute was able to respond to this and host 3 events to support students and employees at Juniata College in order to engage with this in a productive way. One of these events invited scholars to analyze the conflict in a way that provided nuance and rigor to a conflict that has experienced vast polarization in the media. This was incredibly important, and if anybody would like, they can reach out to our office to receive a recording of that. That has been allowed by the speakers. This event brought 70 students, employees, and community members together, but our other events invited more. And in the words of Provost Bowen, showed the best of what civil discourse looks like in a college setting. Around the country, colleges and universities have struggled to have these discussions, and it's affected their operations and their campus culture. Juniata has served as a model for how small liberal arts colleges can engage and do this right. This next semester, as it approaches, the Baker Institute will respond to the needs of our community, but also as the conflicts around the globe continue to shape out, we will create events that help support you and help engage in these discussions. And while we celebrate these 50 years, we can celebrate, but we can acknowledge why we are still doing this work, and that's because there's a need. And I'll keep it very brief, so I'll say thank you. Once again, the Baker Institute work is only as successful as the people that engage with it. So thank you for all you do. I talked to all you last semester for the December President's Forum, but I'm just going to expand a little bit more on how these types of programs connect to getting our students and our staff and faculty global ready and also just involved. We're living in a world that looks very different than it did 2 years ago, 5 years ago. 2022 marks the deadliest year in the last decade, 2 decades actually. And it's the 2023 marks the deadliest year for civilian deaths for global conflict. So as we move forward and make sure that our work is competitive for projects like the Paul Simon Award, we need to make sure that our students, staff, and faculty have opportunities to engage in civic dialogue on global issues. So it's essential for our college to acknowledge and respond to these global conflicts and to these global issues because especially Juniata has a special history with peace education, and the Baker Institute is a good resource and partner in helping the college succeed in this. Our ability to tackle global topics is clearly demonstrated, especially for our Baker International Symposium. So this is now the second year. 2023 was our second year of the International Symposium. And it's been a really great way for us to bring international speakers to come to campus to talk on a targeted issue that's affecting the global community. So in our first year for 2022, Director Hawk and Scholar-in-Residence Abdallah responded to the conflict going on in Ukraine and created this forum to allow global speakers to talk about this issue. Because when we're talking about global issues, we need diverse perspectives, or else we're just talking into an echo chamber and into a silo. So this is why it's incredibly, incredibly important that we do these things. 2023, we're going to have a topic focused on climate change and environmental justice. This also is strategic because it aligns with the third year Juniata has sent students to the COP28 conference, which is an amazing opportunity that's really spearheaded through the politics department, but is a campus-wide effort. This also connects greatly with our environmental science and studies programming, which we have plenty of people applying to join Juniata to study those things. But there's a lot of conflicts and global crises we can plan for. As we saw, we had our 2023 conference, and then 3 days later, we had the attack in Gaza. So we responded very quickly to that, and that was really through good leadership from our campus. And we responded as a community. There was many people on that email chain trying to figure out how we respond to these things. We're going to need to respond more and more to these types of conflicts. We see a lot of colleges across the country really struggle with how to respond and suffer by not responding at all. So we really need to look at how we can prepare ourselves for things that are sudden and unexpected. We also really need to look at what types of conflicts we are responding to and others we have not. And I'm going to quickly turn the page because I want to make sure I get this right. So I really wanted to bring this up. I wasn't able to bring this up in the trustee meeting just due to time. But I need to applaud our team, but also the college for responding and creating these opportunities to talk about these global issues. But there's plenty of conflicts that we have not responded to because truly we don't always have the resource and time to do so, but also certain conflicts get more media attention than others. We need to look at, as a community, a better set of criteria of when we decide to address conflicts and which conflicts we are looking at. Of course, we know about Ukraine. Of course, we know about Israel and Palestine. However, maybe less of you know that there has been a multi-year war going on in Ethiopia and in Sudan that has led to more deaths than in Ukraine. So Ethiopia in 2022 actually had more deaths happen, and yet we hear far less about that. So we as a community need to strive to do that better, not just for our own sake, but also for the sake of our students, staff, and faculty, and also for our cause of being more focused on international issues.